Good morning, everyone. Nathan from All Properties Group on the Gold Coast again, coming to you live. We're doing our weekly wrap. I want to talk about what's going on in the marketplace, specifically around what I've seen in the last week, especially after the interest rate rise on Melbourne Cup Day of all days. And I think this is going to be an interesting conversation. I'd love to know your thoughts if you're seeing anything in the marketplace at the moment. If you're struggling to hear me or if it's a bit blurry, please let me know. I might try and bring this up on my phone at the same time and just see how this is going at the moment. I forgot to disconnect from my Wi-Fi, so hopefully it's working okay. But I wanted to talk about, so interest rates, of course, went up on Tuesday, 0.25%. Now we're at the highest level since early 2013, and there's obviously talks it's going to continue to rise. I think the RBA has been put under a little bit of pressure since Tuesday because America went up by 0.75% at the same time. So it's likely that we're going to see another interest rate rise in December, where majority of us and a lot of economists were actually predicting a slowdown towards Christmas this year in order to, I guess, boost the confidence for retail spending. That looks to be thrown out the window. I think the RBA has no choice now but to continue doing what they're doing. It'll just be interesting to see whether they continue with the larger jumps or if 0.25 is now where they're going to sit for the remaining 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever it is, of interest rate rises we'll see before the expected dip from interest rate rises begin again. So today I've got 431 Gainsborough Drive going to auction. This will be an interesting one to watch today. We've got multiple registered bidders already, all over the phone at this stage. A lot of interstate interest back into the market again, investors and people still moving up. 12 of 24 BD Road in Coomera, townhouse at the moment, down there, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. That goes to auction at 12:15. Only the single registered bidder at this stage. So we'll watch and wait to see what happens there. The market in townhouses has been quite tough, I found, actually. The body corporate extra cost on top of a mortgage has made things a little bit more difficult for buyers to see value in properties at the moment. And then I've got an open home as well at 28 Saraba Way in Pimpama, one of the most gorgeous homes in Gainsborough Greens. That goes to auction in another few weeks' time. That's an interesting one to watch as well. I think that price point where we're at the moment is where the market has changed the most. But with a property of that sort of stature, 37 squares, almost brand new, I think we'll have a successful auction day in a few weeks' time. So last weekend, before the interest rate rise, of course, we had the Gold Coast 500 and multiple other events, including a marathon on the Sunshine Coast and so many other different things. It's telling me my internet's not performing too well at the moment. So I might have to see how we go. Let me just check to see if this is working. If it's not, I'm just going to start again and go from there. Oh, it seems like it's not too bad. All right. So last weekend, Gold Coast 500 plus multiple other events. We had a very, very low number of inspections at open homes across the board. In Logan, they did okay. That was on average 5 or 6 people from what I was hearing in there. On the Gold Coast, those that I was talking to, and at my open homes, average of 2 to 3 buyers maximum was sort of what we were seeing at most of open homes in different price points. And that last weekend, I had price points from 400,000 all the way up to $2 million. And there was a definite slowdown in buyer interest. I originally thought that might have just been due to the events, but what we've seen this week is that inquiries have not lifted back up to their normal levels. And the open homes we've had during the week, where we usually see 4 or 5 groups through, especially new listings, have only seen 1 at a maximum, maybe 2 across Brisbane. So it's been quite interesting, actually, to see that change. Today is going to paint a picture. I do believe there has been a shift. I think buyers' confidence levels have dropped. Every buyer that I'm talking to from the last few weeks has gone, interest rates are rising. We're either dropping their expectations on price or their borrowing capacity has changed. And I want to touch on that mainly because if you're a buyer in this marketplace, yes, prices may drop a smidge, but every 0.5% rise in interest rates. So what's going to happen next month is more than likely another 25. So November, December, that's on average a 10% drop to the average borrower in borrowing power. The property market is not dropping by 10% every 0.5% interest rate rise. And that's something that people need to understand. If you've got a specific area in mind or a price point in mind that you want to be in a luxury home or, that next step up to that $700,000 to $900,000 mark, but now your borrowing capacity is going to drop to $650,000, you need to be serious about getting in the market before they continue to rise. Or if you wanted to get into Gainsborough Greens, you may no longer be able to do that because I can guarantee you that every 0.5% the property market in most areas, maybe Sydney and Melbourne might be different. In most areas in the Gold Coast, we're not seeing 10% drops at the same rate. So your borrowing power will drop faster than the property market. You're better off getting in. We know that property markets are a cycle, which means that yes, you may drop in the time you're living in there, but of course, at some point, it does always come back. 4, 5 to 10 years, depending on the cycle. We're in a bit of a changing cycle at the moment due to the COVID pandemic and 2 years of absolute insane growth. But if we follow the usual trends, we're not far off that uptake again. And as well, you got to remember that yes, we had extreme growth before, but we've still got so much happening on the Gold Coast and Brisbane coming up that we can't see dramatic drops. There's not enough stock, and there won't be enough stock to cover the amount of migration and the jobs we have to fill, which means we need to bring people from interstate and overseas who are going to need housing, right? So that's something to keep in mind. If you're selling, of course, what happens is people's borrowing power drops. Sometimes that means that your expectations as a seller will have to drop as well. We've seen it multiple times already that when sellers meet the market, they are selling for a smidge less than what they would have 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks ago, but they're also buying in the same market. So they're picking up that saving elsewhere anyway. And the market is what the market is. Control the controllables. What you can control as a seller is the agent you choose, the way you present the house, and the way you price it. What we cannot change and we cannot influence is the economy and what the market sees value in. That's just the way that it is. And we've just got to control the controllables. Remember that if you price it right, present it right, and have a good agent by your corner, you will always sell for a premium price in the market you're selling in. Have a good weekend, everyone. It's kind of cold outside at the moment, but looks like the sun might come out pretty soon and heating the place up again. I'll check in with you later on and give you an update on the day. Talk soon.